California and the Intelligence Committee chairman who led the impeachment inquiry. Okay. The president and his men plot on, Mr. Schiff said, the danger persists, the risk is real. Our democracy is at peril. At peril. Let me explain something here. Where we need evidence, okay? We need evidence. We're looking for evidence. When we're in court, we look for evidence. We don't say, hey, that guy did a bad thing because I think he did a bad thing. Oh, I think he did a bad thing. Oh, did he do a bad thing? Yeah, he probably did. I don't know. Where's the proof that he did a bad thing? We need physical proof. So far from showing contrition or contemplating resignation as his predecessors have done in the face of impeachment, Mr. Trump instead offered an indignant defense as the House weighed his fate, raging on Twitter from the okay. So he's upset. Here's a photo. It's kind of Godfathery, but here's the photo of him hiding behind a door. It's actually a really good photo. So he's basically hiding behind a door. Like, I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you. President Trump leaving the Oval Office on Wednesday for a campaign event in Michigan as the House was debating his impeachment. Such an atrocious lies by the radical left do-nothing Democrats. Okay, here's my thing about Trump. Don't beat up on the Democrats. If it was the libertarians that were coming after you too, don't beat up on the libertarians. Don't beat up on any third party or even the Democrats. Don't beat up on anybody. It doesn't really do a whole lot. It shows that you're hot-headed. And then he says the president wrote as the debate took place on the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue. This is an assault on America and an assault on the Republican Party. Okay, so it is an assault on the Republican Party. But hey, the Republican parties, they need a little thump every once in a while, okay? They need that. The Republicans, they have all the money, okay? It hurts when you have to budget every last penny that you have because you care about other people, okay? The Democrats do care about other people. I've been a Democrat. I've also been a Republican. I'm kind of third party in a way. But the problem with the Democrats is that sometimes their morals are out the window when it comes to abortion and things like that, and rights, especially for women, because they're out there abusing other men, especially men's freedoms and a man's freedom to have a family. I think women do that. I think they can abuse the power of a man to have a family because they know how important it is for a man to have a family and they want complete control. And women do this stuff, okay? So I think I think women are abusing their power. In this case, we can see this kind of happening with Pelosi slamming the hammer down, and just behavior can control a situation. Our behavior can. My thing about Trump is what I would say is just be calm and be kind. So be calm and be kind, and just go with the flow on everything. We don't have any physical proof, so this is just selling newspapers. Is what I think this is all this is doing is selling newspapers. Here's some other things that's been said. Is Trump says, I'm not worried. You don't do anything wrong and you get impeached. Okay, that may be a record that will last forever. Okay, there's another thing that says, but you know what they have done. He said of Democrats, they have cheapened the impeachment process. Several things have happened to me. I don't blame my wife for necessarily leaving because of the stress of me losing the job at the bank. I understand, but she has to realize it's very hard for a man to lose his job and to start over. And that can cause him a tremendous stress. So I've not only lost my job, but I've lost my family. But what I'm learning not to do is I'm learning not to panic anymore, and I'm learning not to point fingers at other people. And I suggest Trump to do the same. Don't point your finger at another person. Don't do that here. If you didn't do anything wrong, just be calm, be quiet. Just let things play naturally. Don't try to fight them, because the more when an animal gets trapped especially a raccoon. When a raccoon gets trapped, what it does is you take a shiny little piece of metal and you put it in this box, and the raccoon reaches in and he grabs onto it, and he can't pull his paw out because he has to let go in order to pull his paw out, right? Because he just wants that thing so bad. He's trying to, and then he has to let go. And it's something I learned in my first divorce, was I had to just let go of her, right? So I could pull my own hand out. What I would suggest is let go, Trump, of this whole impeachment process. Just let go of it. Go through it like you do any other presidency thing. Go through it just like any other thing. Just go through it. But focus on trying to run the country in a way where we are compassionate about everyone, even the people on the border, especially in Mexico, and just be compassionate to everybody from this point on. Because sometimes you're punished for something else that you do. And you're punished because of another action that you did that maybe is only seen by God. Okay? And you have to go through that punishment. But what I would say is, from this point on in your office, is just be compassionate. Try not to lose your temper. I have a problem with my temper. And the more I lose my temper, the more I lose. So here we go with this. Despite years of speculation, Mr. Trump's impeachment did not, in the end, grow out of the 2-year investigation into Russian election meddling by Robert S. Mueller III, the special counsel, or the seemingly endless series of other accusations of corruption and misconduct that have plagued his White House: tax evasion, profiting from the presidency, payoffs to a pornographic film actress, and fraudulent activities by his charitable foundation. So you messed up on a lot of little things. Of course, we're all broken. Trying to figure out tax evasion. So, special counsel, the seemingly endless series of other accusations of corruption and misconduct that have plagued the White House: tax evasion, profiting from the presidency. Okay. They talk about George Bush going on these golfing events, and then of course Obama. They all spend a tremendous amount of money in the presidency. They all have done it. Even Obama was accused of spending a little too much on certain things. I don't think that's going to pay off on profiting from the presidency. I'm not going to buy that. Payoffs to pornographic film actress. I don't know. That seemed like a personal conflict. Was it going on while he was really in office, or is this something that happened prior that he was trying to wrap up, to silence her or something? I mean, it wasn't as bad as what happened with JFK and Marilyn Monroe, which we don't even know if that really went down. And then fraudulent activities by his charitable foundation. Well, they'd have to find some proof on that. But what would his charitable foundation have to do with the presidency? If it's his foundation, what does it have? I mean, and I didn't even know he had a charitable foundation. I know he has the freaking hotel in Las Vegas and everything. He has a charitable foundation. Man. These presidents are just bad boys. Instead, the existential threat to Mr. Trump's presidency centered around a half-hour phone call in July. On it, he pressured Ukraine's president. Okay, do they have this recorded? To announce investigation into former Vice President Joseph R. Biden Jr. and other Democrats. At the same time, he was withholding nearly $400 million in vital military assistance for the country and a White House meeting. Congress learned about the call after an anonymous CIA official lodged a whistleblower complaint in August, pulling a string that helped unravel an effort by the president and his allies to pressure a foreign government for help in smearing a political rival. Over periods of weeks this fall, a parade of diplomats and other administration office confirmed and expanded on those revelations. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. It seems like to me that this is stuff they're just kind of pulling up from the past. And I don't really know if they're going to have any. Listen, if they had soundproof that there was some kind of phone call where he's pressuring the Ukraine guy. They're going to have interpreters and investigators and sound recording of this, and they would never let him be president in the first place, okay? Which they don't have any of that. That would be the front page news of the New York Times if they had any proof of that so-called phone call. It sounds like to me they only have the time of the phone call. The unit in the opposition Republicans accused the Democrats who fought their way back from political oblivion in 2016 to win the House in 2018 of misusing the power voters had invested in them to harangue a president they never viewed as legitimate by manufacturing a case against him. Though they conceded a few of them, they insisted the facts against Mr. Trump nonetheless fell woefully short of impeachment. Here's another photo they have. Okay, so that's the lady over there getting her Kramer versus Kramer kind of thing on right there. Speaker Nancy Pelosi arriving at her office on Wednesday before the House voted. You know, my thing is just, Nancy, just quit your diet, you know. I don't know. She just seems like she's mad all the time. Like, get some food in you, calm down. When all is said and done, when the history of this impeachment is written, it will be said that my Washington Democrat friends couldn't bring themselves to work with Donald Trump. So they consoled themselves instead of by silencing the will of those who did, the American people, said Representative Mark Meadows, Republican of North Carolina. So they're blaming the Democrats. It could be a big red herring from the Democrats. It could be the Democrats trying to get their way. And the Democrats are so crazy about keeping a Democratic president in the office that they seem like they're beating up on this poor guy, especially during Christmas time. Throughout the inquiry, even as Republicans raged against the process and sought to offer benign explanations for Mr. Trump's conduct, none disputed the central facts that served as its basis. That he asked Ukraine president to do us a favor and investigate Mr. Biden, a prospective rival in the 2020 campaign, and other Democrats. Okay, so did they ask this Ukraine president? I don't know, man. I have to see physical proof. So I think the New York Times, I mean, I know they're pro-Democrat. I think they're a really good magazine, newspaper. I've been reading them lately. So I've been trying to do like a New York Times article a day. I haven't been able to do it lately because of time and pre-production and everything. I don't know. This is a real tough time. I mean, I'm in the middle of pre-production and this is a tough time for us, but the one thing about the Democratic Party that I like is the fact that they do respect artists, and I think Trump does too. But the one thing I liked about Obama was that he brought in people in the White House that were from, off Broadway or Broadway, that were working on, spoken word and rap and things like that. And I always saw Obama as kind of a friend to the artist. Another thing, Trump and also Republican Party people, you got to respect the artist, because as artists, well, we have the freedom of speech just like you do. Okay, you may be a president, but remember, the artist also can speak in different ways, and we can write plays that represent other things. We can write ideas that represent other things. So Republicans seem to sometimes have a thing, oh, that's artsy. I always say these things in my recording. A Republican can't handle this recording because it doesn't have the right filters. But a Democrat can handle it, because a Democrat's going to look at the compassion of things, while the Republicans sometimes are like, they want the Disney, ambiance of lots of money, and they want to see the big circus act happening, and that kills. That's hard to do. While the Democrat sometimes looks at the petty and the poor and appreciates that and sees the art in it. And I just wish the Republicans would just say, look, here's some of my money. We're going to help you a little bit. Not a whole lot. I don't want to take all of it. I don't want to become a Republican. One of my things about Pitter's 11, which is a film manifestation, manifesto. It's a film manifesto that Rob Vasquez and I wrote. The one thing I like about it is the fact that 50% of what you profit from your film has to go to another artist, or it's not a Pitter's 11 production. It's one of the guidelines of Pitter's 11, which is a kind of a Dogma 95, if you know anything about filmmaking, it's a Dogma 95 manifesto. But I have never had anybody walk up to me and say, look, here's $500,000, make your film. And that would come from a Republican. A Democrat just wouldn't have the money to do it. Never. They're like, never, never will we. And the thing is that I think that's what I mean by you could be punished for something else that's going on. Okay? When you neglect someone, you can be punished for that. Neglect is bad. I don't necessarily think Trump has neglected our country. And I think he's worked really hard at protecting us. I think he has done that. I'm not gonna deny him on that. I think he's worked really hard at protecting us. But there are some things that had gone on when he first got into office. And here's one thing I wanted to talk about that made me mad about Trump. There were some sick people protesting in the Capitol, and they came in and removed them. I don't know if Trump was behind this, but there were police officers in the Capitol removing sick people and their catheters coming out and blood. Nuh-uh. We don't do that. If sick people are protesting, we give up our Capitol. Okay? We give up that area. That doesn't belong to us anymore. It belongs to those sick people. Remember, something that our country is found on is that the sick, there is an army of the sick. There's an army of the broken. And we need to realize that that army is very strong because they can't defend themselves. You do not remove a person that's sitting in a wheelchair or a person that's laying in a bed. You don't remove them from the Capitol. That should be part of this impeachment. We don't do that. That belongs to those sick people. They should be brought back in and be able to stay there as long as they need to stay there. Sick people are the most important people in our country because they're an army, an important army, and they can win any war. Let me tell you this. I've learned from a personal friend of mine. We don't mess with the sick people. We don't mess with them. That, if anything, should be behind this impeachment, but that's not even mentioned in any of these articles. And he should have put his foot down, or at least made more of an attempt to say, look, what happened in the Capitol that day, or what happened to those poor people that were protesting because money was being taken from them and they were trying to live. Okay? All right. So this is up to 40 minutes. But what I'm saying is that Trump isn't perfect. Nobody is perfect. We need to also respect Trump because he is a president. And we need to treat this in a very sensitive matter. We need physical proof before we even continue this impeachment. Okay? So I apologize for even mentioning an impeachment to Trump because now I feel bad and guilty because I got upset because I was emotional at the time when I mentioned something about impeachment. So I don't know if we have any sound proof of any of this. I feel like it's a harangue. I feel it's a three-ring circus. I personally just telling you how I really feel. Back then when Nixon was impeached, I'm sure there were people that supported it and people that didn't. But because of what went down in Watergate, and that was they had some evidence, and they just had physical evidence. They had arrests made. Because of that, I think the Nixon impeachment was valid. And then of course Clinton, we should have impeached him because of his behavior. Now, the thing about the sick people in the Capitol is I don't know for sure if Trump knew about it or if he didn't get a chance to say, look, let those people stay there. What's wrong with a bunch of sick people protesting in the Capitol or the Congress, people that are laying in sick beds or wheelchairs? We should allow people to do that and walk around them. We need to be that kind of country. We don't need to walk around the ugly that's at the gate. We need to accept the ugly that's in the gate. We need to accept sick people and include them. All right, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say about impeachment and abuse of power. And I hope this goes in one post. I don't know the outcome of Trump. I'm not going to say that it's going to happen and go down or that it's not. I just want to say I want physical proof. I want like a shadow of a doubt kind of thing put into the courtroom. Is there a shadow of a doubt? So if there's a shadow of a doubt, then let him go. If we have concrete proof, then just like, anybody. But we need concrete proof. Okay? That's all I want to say is that we have to have concrete proof before we impeach anybody in any kind of situation. So first, where is the concrete proof? Don't see it here in these articles. I just see, you did this because of what reason? The length of the phone call? Did we hear the phone call? Can we hear the phone call? There's Russian interpreters that can interpret all this stuff. Where's the phone call? Is the phone call recorded? We need physical proof. And I think we're wasting money. And we're wasting time on this impeachment, I think, until we get physical proof. If we don't get physical proof, if we do not have the physical proof, drop everything and let's work on stuff that's going to help build this country and make this country what it needs to be. And when I don't want to use the terms "make this country great again." I don't want to do this. Make this country about family again is what we need to do. We need to make this country centered around the family, the husband and the wife coming together, finding laws to make this happen, finding laws that are not going to hurt the father of his children, finding laws that are going to help bring family together. I am for the laws that are going to help make family strong again. I'm not about pride and making things great. I'm about making family strong again. That's what I think will make a great country, is making family united and not divided, and making laws to protect the father of his family. Okay? Now, let's all grow up here. Now, I'm going to end it with this. All I ask to do for those that are believers is to pray on the issue and to go on to more important things and helping family.